A group of dissimilar cells which function as an unit and perform a definite function are called as complex tissue. In plants, two types of complex tissues are formed. They are xylem and phloem. These complex tissues in plants are distributed in form of vascular bundles. They help in the conduction of water, mineral salts and organic substances. They are also referred to as vascular tissues. These vascular tissues, they are absent in thallophytes and bryophytes. Vascular tissues first appeared in pteridophytes and gradually developed into complex structures in gymnosperms and angiosperms. The plant possessing vascular tissues are included in the group Tracheophyta. Xylem. Xylem comes from a Greek word which means wood. This complex tissue conducts water and mineral salts from root to the aerial parts of the plant body. The term xylem was coined by K. Nageli and it is derived, as I told, that it is derived from a Greek word xylos, meaning the wood. Xylem forms the most important part of vascular bundle and it is also known as hydrome. Xylem is composed of different types of elements or cells. The first are the trachary elements, the second are the xylem fibers, and third are the xylem parenchyma. Among these three types of elements that are present in xylem, only xylem parenchyma is the living cells, whereas the trachary elements and xylem fibers are lignified, thick-walled, and they are dead elements. Trachary elements, they are specialized dead cells with thick and lignified walls which conduct water and mineral salts and which also helps in the mechanical support. The trachary elements are highly specialized cells and are of two types, the tracheids and vessels. Trachid, the word comes from the Latin word trachea, which means windpipe. The term trachid was introduced by Sanyo in 1863. The trachid is a fundamental cell type in xylem. They are elongate cells with broad middle part and tapering end with thick and lignified walls. So here you can see the arrow. The tracheids are having the tapering ends. They are dead and empty cells without any protoplasm. The cell cavity or lumen of the trachid is large. The walls of tracheids are provided with abundant border pits. So here you can see the border pits that are present on the walls of the tracheids. These tracheids are arranged in parallel rows with partial overlapping and they form a continuous conducting strands. So here you can see the two tracheids, they are overlapping each other and the continuity between the overlapping tracheids is maintained through the thin pith pairs on their common walls. That is, the pith that is present on one tracheid is paired with the pith that is present on the second vessel. The conduction of water and salts takes place through these piths which are joined. The perforation or opening at the end of trachea cells are absent. The tracheids are specially adapted to function of conduction. The thick and rigid walls of tracheids also help in mechanical support. In pteridophytes and gymnosperms, tracheids are main elements of water conduction. Tracheids alone are present in pteridophytes and gymnosperms, whereas in angiosperm they are associated with the vessels. The tracheids are primitive to the vessels. The vessel elements are elongated, wide, cylindrical cells with lignified secondary walls, and they are without protoplasm. Means again the vessel elements are also the non-living or dead cells. The tracheids are arranged end to end and they are joined into long continuous tubes called the vessels. So here you can see the two vessel elements are joined end to end, and there is a continuous conduction of water without any hindrance in the vessel elements. The end walls of vessels are perforated, means the end walls of the vessels have the pores. The wall bearing the perforation is called as the perforation plates. So here you can see the perforation plate, the end wall of the vessel element are having the pores or the perforation, and the wall area where these perforations are present is called as the perforation plate. The perforation plate, which bears only one pore or has a single opening, are called as simple perforation. So here you can see at the end wall, here it is having only a single perforation or single pore. Whereas if two or more openings or pores are present, then the perforation is called as the multiple perforation. As vessel elements are arranged end to end and sap moves freely through the perforation areas, vessels are more efficient in conduction of water than the tracheids. Phylogenetically, vessels are more advanced than tracheids and are evolved from them. They are the chief elements of conduction in angiosperm and help in the transportation of water and mineral salts. However, some pteridophytes like Equisetum and Selaginella, they have the vessel elements. They are also found in some gymnosperm like Ephedra, Welwitschia and Netum. Although vessels are characteristic feature of angiosperm, they are absent in some angiosperms like Trichodendron dremis. So these angiosperms which lack vessels are called as vesselless angiosperms. In monocotyledons like Yucca and Dracena, the vessels are absent from stems and leaves. And in aquatic plants, parasites and succulent plants, vessels are very less developed. The secondary walls of trachary elements, that is both tracheids and vessels, show variety of thickenings. The thickening in this trachary elements is due to deposition of lignin in the interior of the cell wall. The deposition of lignin takes the following pattern. The first are the angular thickenings, where the thickening occurs either in circular or ring like. So here you can observe the circular or ring like thickening, which are called as annular thickening. The second is the spiral or helical thickening, where the thickening takes place in spiral manner. The third are the scalariform thickenings. Here the thickening is in form of a ladder. The next are the reticulate thickening, where the thickenings are in form of a net. The last are the pitted thickening. The lignin deposition on the wall is uniform, that the wall of the trachary elements is uniformly thickened by deposition of lignin, but they are interrupted at some places by the pith. So here you can see the wall is completely having the lignin, but at many places it is interrupted by the piths. So this type of thickening is called as pitted thickening. In many plants, the secondary wall thickening is first formed in the protoxylem. That is, the first form xylem is called as protoxylem. So this first form xylem, they show the annular or helical thickening. In later form trachary elements, that is the later form trachary elements are called as the metaxylem. So the early form metaxylem, they show the scalary form of thickening. In trachary elements form at a still later stage, the wall thickening is in form of a network, that is, they show the reticulate thickening. In most advanced elements, the secondary wall is interrupted only at its piths, so they have the pitted thickening. Xylem parenchyma. The parenchyma cells which are found within the xylem tissue are referred to as xylem or wood parenchyma. These cells are more or less elongated, placed end to end, and may be thick or thin walled. The xylem parenchyma is the only living cells of the xylem. Xylem parenchyma cells remain alive as long as xylem tissue is active and performs its function as conductive tissue. The parenchyma cells are present in primary as well as secondary xylem. They form a major part of primary xylem, and in secondary xylem, the xylem parenchyma is of two types, the axial parenchyma and the ray or radial parenchyma. The axial parenchyma, the cells are arranged end to end in vertical rows among the trachary elements. These cells are rectangular to elongated with horizontal end walls. Whereas in radial or ray parenchyma, the cells are arranged horizontally among the trachary element. Much taxonomic importance is attached to the type of distribution of parenchyma. So based on that, the xylem parenchyma which is associated with the vessel, if the xylem parenchyma is associated with the vessel, then it is called as the paratracheal parenchyma, and the xylem parenchyma which are freely distributed, means which are not associated with the vessels, are called as apotracheal parenchyma. The function of the xylem parenchyma are the storage of food such as starch, oils and fats. They also store the tannins and crystal. Parenchyma cells are always involved directly or indirectly in translocation of water and mineral salts. The ray parenchyma in secondary xylem is concerned with the radial conduction of water and mineral salts. The next xylem elements are the xylem fibers or wood fibers. So these xylem fibers are long, slender, dead sclerenchymatous cells that are present both in the primary as well as secondary xylem. They develop from the same meristem which gives rise to the other xylem element. They have thick lignified walls with narrow lumen. On basis of the wall thickness and nature of pits, the xylem fibers are differentiated mainly into two types. First are the libriform fibers and second are the fiber tracheids. The libriform fibers are extremely thick walled with narrow lumen. The pits are small and they have only simple pits, whereas the fiber tracheids are shorter than the libriform fibers and show moderately thickened wall and they have a fairly large lumen. The fiber tracheids shows the border pits. So here the libriform fibers have the simple pits, whereas the fiber tracheids they have the border pits. Because of their similarity to phloem fibers, the libriform fibers got the name from the phloem. So in Greek, the liber means the phloem, and these libriform fibers are also called as the phloem fibers. The fiber tracheids are supposed to have developed from non-functional tracheids by the reduction. Means the non-functional tracheids, they later on get transformed into the fiber tracheids. In secondary xylem of dicots, another type of fiber is identified known as gelatinous or mucilaginous fiber. The innermost layer of secondary wall in this fiber contain a lot of cellulose and the cell walls are poor in lignin. So these walls, they absorb much water and swell to fill up the entire lumen of the fiber and become gelatinous or the mucilaginous. So xylem fibers are mainly libriform fibers, fiber tracheids and gelatinous tracheids. The function of the xylem fibers or wood fibers is to provide mechanical strength, and according to recent studies, fibers retain their living conditions for a long time and are concerned with the storage of reserve materials like starch and oils. Commercially, the fibers are extracted and used in textile and fiber industries. Now, based on the formation of the xylem, they are of two types. Xylem developed from the procambium in the primary body. So xylem that develops from the procambium in the primary body is called as the primary xylem. And the later form xylem, the xylem which is formed from the vascular cambium during the secondary growth is called as the secondary xylem. The primary xylem, depending upon the arrangement, the primary xylem, in the primary xylem, the first form primary xylem is called as the protoxylem and the later form primary xylem is called as the metaxylem. The protoxylem consists of smaller elements and they have annular and spiral thickenings, whereas the metaxylem elements are larger and have scalariform, reticulate and pithate thickening. Now, depending on the arrangement of the protoxylem in relation to metaxylem in a vascular bundle, the primary xylem is of three types. First is the exarch xylem, in which the protoxylem is present towards outside facing the epidermis and the metaxylem is towards the inside. So such type of a xylem is called as exarch xylem. So here you can see the protoxylem is present towards the center of the vascular bundle, whereas the protoxylem is present towards the outside or towards the cortex. So here the protoxylem is on the outer side and metaxylem is towards the inner side. So this type of xylem is called as exarch xylem. The exarch xylems are present in the roots of dicots and monocots. The second type of xylem is the endarch xylem. If protoxylem is present towards inside and metaxylem towards outside facing the epidermis, this type of xylem is called as the endarch xylem. So here you can see the protoxylem is present, the metaxylem is present towards the outside, whereas the metaxylem is present towards the center of the stem, that is the pith. So this type of xylem is called as endarch xylem, and this type of xylem we see in the stem of dicots and monocots. And the third type of xylem is the mesarch xylem. If protoxylem is in the center occupied on either side by metaxylem, then this condition is called as mesarch xylem. So this is present in the ferns or the pteridophytes. Now comparison of tracheids and vessels. So tracheids are short, usually up to 1 millimeter in length. The vessels are comparatively longer and may reach up to 10 centimeter in length. The tracheids consist of single elongated cell with tapering end walls. The vessels consist of row of cells placed one above the other. In the tracheids, the end walls are not perforated, whereas in vessels, the end walls are perforated. The tracheids are placed one above the other and are separated by walls which bear border piths. The vessels are tubular and have no cross walls. The end walls are perforated. They consist of row of cells which are placed one above the other. So tracheids are present in all vascular plants. They are chief elements of conduction in pteridophytes and gymnosperm. So vessels are absent in pteridophytes and gymnosperm. They are the chief elements of conduction in angiosperms.